Okay, so salute to everyone out there. Hopefully, your week is going well so far, just like mine. Early this morning, I was watching ESPN, and they were talking about Greg Popovich, which is the head coach of the San Antonio Spurs, having a meeting with Kawhi Leonard. Popovich asked Kawhi Leonard, "What's the problem?" Kawhi Leonard tells him, "I don't want to be here. I want out." Then, before I start recording this video, I get news on my alerts. I get an alert with NBA news. And they're saying now that Lakers and Spurs are talking trades. I do know Lakers have 2 picks in the draft. They just picked up another pick yesterday. Good stuff. Magic is a great, great team builder, businessman, and leader. I just don't want Lakers to trade away Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, Lonzo Ball to do it. Hopefully they can create enough cap space to keep Julius Randle. Julius Randle is now a top 5 power forward in the NBA. Maybe even top 3. If you are a Laker fan, he is number 1 or in the top 2. So this has been the talk of the town along with migrant children. So we'll see how this plays out. So without any further ado, let's get into it.
4 Northeast Ohio facilities of the Freshmark Meat Company, including the plant in Salem, were raided this afternoon by ICE agents. In Salem, 100 Freshmark employees were arrested for immigration violations.
Now, the raid in Salem took place at the Freshmark plant on Route 45 south of the city. That's where I reported live during First News at 5 and 6. But according to a news release from Immigration and Customs Enforcement, raids were conducted at 2 other Freshmark operations in Massillon, where the company is headquartered, and then a 4th raid at a Freshmark facility in Canton. The raids came after a year-long investigation where evidence indicated that Freshmark may have knowingly hired undocumented immigrants. The ICE raid in Salem is our top story at 10.
One of the 3 buses carrying some of what ICE officials say were 100 undocumented immigrants left the Freshmark plant on Salem's South Lincoln Avenue at around 7:30 this evening, ending an afternoon raid by agents from Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
My concern basically is just what's going to happen to them at this moment because it's unknown.
Sister Reen Weeks administers to Salem's Hispanic population at St. Paul's Catholic Church. She was comforting wives and girlfriends concerned about those being arrested.
Are some of the people working in this plant undocumented immigrants?
I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are. They're here trying to make a better life for their family. Many of them, most of them probably are Guatemalan. Many of them have fled situations of horrific violence in their own countries.
One woman showed up with 4 children, saying her husband worked in the plant. One of the young girls was visibly upset, and a sheriff's deputy guarding the gate took time to comfort her. Also on the scene today was Salem's Don Little, who said that a year ago he called Homeland Security to complain about what was happening at Freshmark.
We've got a president in office that's going to do something about it finally, and now some things are going to get done around here.
When we first arrived at the plant, a helicopter was flying overhead, perhaps to stop anyone from escaping. We could see agents moving about on the property. Police were denying trucks entry. Some of the drivers just parked along the side of the road and waited. The buses then arrived at around 7 p.m., and we could see what appeared to be mostly women being loaded onto one of them before the bus pulled out and left.
Good evening, I'm Mandy Knoll.
I'm Stan Boney. We continue our coverage tonight of yesterday's raid at the Freshmark in Salem. New tonight, we're hearing from the union representing the workers at the meat processing plant.
From how ICE agents handled the raid to the workers' children to the system the company uses when it makes hires. The Freshmark raid from the union representing the workers is our top story at 10.
The Retail, Wholesale and Department Store Union says it represents 2,800 members who work for the 3 Freshmark plants that were raided yesterday, including the one in Salem.
They literally slammed some folks to the ground and handcuffed them, and then started escorting people out.
That's Randy Hadley. He's the union representative for these workers. ICE released a video of the raids to the media today, and it didn't show any of that. One local attorney tells First News these raids take weeks, months, or years of surveillance. There's a lot going on behind the scenes when investigating how a company makes its hires and whether that's legal. Hadley says Freshmark hires by the book.
We're outraged about it. We have an employer, Freshmark. They follow the federal guidelines as far as checking people's credentials out. They use E-Verify, which is government approved, on every employee.
That's the issue here, and it's something a lot of people have an opinion on. Sister Reen Weeks with St. Paul Catholic Church says none of these workers were stealing from Americans.
I don't believe that they're all stealing our jobs. If they were, Freshmark wouldn't have a sign out there that says we're hiring.
Both she and Hadley are focusing tonight on the children affected by these detainments. Children who don't know where their parents are.
550 children that their mother and fathers went to work yesterday.
The union is putting together a task force.
We are not going to walk away from these people. We're going to do everything we can to help them.
Sister Weeks says many churches are working together to help families affected with things like diapers, milk, and other necessities, because even the people proven to be here legally won't be getting back to work at the plant anytime soon.
I do not have a problem with this. I do not have a problem with this. Do's a crime, you do the time. Now, this is a meat packaging company in Salem, Ohio. There, they package the meat, they cut it, they cut the fat off the meat. Or maybe the meat comes trimmed already, or however, and they just package it. Put it on a 18-wheeler, and the 18-wheeler takes it to the stores, the supermarkets. Customers come in and buys the meat. So some people would say, will that market be affected? If ICE come and arrest all of the undocumented workers that are packaging meat for Americans to eat, because you know that's going to be the argument. How are you going to eat? They're doing the jobs you don't want to do. That's the argument. So if you are in Salem, Ohio, if you know anyone near Salem, Ohio, tell them to go to that meat company and fill out a job application if he or she needs a job. Or show them this video. If you are undocumented, ICE has the legal right to deport you, to detain you. So now you have children being ripped apart of their family, so-called. This is the narrative the media is pushing, well, the liberal media. And I guess every single video you talk about Donald Trump, if you say anything good about him, you have to say you didn't vote for him over and over and over. Because if you don't, you will be a suspected coon. This is the Negro logic in 2018. The same people who voted for Barack Obama twice and got nothing out of the deal. Nothing. And if you remember, those accompanied minors came during Obama's presidency. You can look this up. It's on YouTube. It's on Google. And I'm not taking up for Trump, but it's unfair for you to put this on him. You can't put it on him. You got to put it on Barack Hussein Obama. However, he's out of office right now. He's out of office, so what can you do? It's happening on Trump's watch. And then when you hear about these migrant children that are in these detention centers, they have telephone privileges, they have PlayStation, they have recreational places where they go and exercise and play games and talk to each other, dialogue. And then there are reports of abuse. Some children are saying they are abused. So my question is, are they really abused? If they are, then those employees should be disciplined. But I think that those children were told to say that. Some cases, maybe. Yes. Maybe and yes, some cases they were or are abused. But many of those immigrant children are treated fairly. They are told to be a charity case when they come to America because that helps get them asylum to stay. And see, their country supports that crap and their parents support that crap. Why are Americans, not all, but why are Americans letting their parents off the hook? Who would send unaccompanied minors through a war zone, a cartel stronghold? Who would do that? Now, that's what I call child abuse. Those accompanied minors came under Barack Hussein Obama. And that's something you guys refuse to deal with. And this is one of the reasons why people can't take the liberals serious, because they can't keep it a buck. You got all these black politicians out there buck dancing. Yes, a boss. We gonna let immigrants come in, boss. It's sickening. It's sad. It's pathetic. You can't even help yourself. You can't even stop. You just had a black teenager, boy, in Pittsburgh get shot in the back for running. You can't even solve that problem. And then you have these people who come into the country illegally, and then they feel as though they have a right to stay. Again, I can't go to your country and do that. There is absolutely no way I can go to your country, demand to stay, get on welfare. I can't go to your country and do that. And then on top of that, Mexico have the harshest laws. Well, at least some of the harshest laws when it pertains to immigration. Some of the harshest laws. And then they want to chastise Americans about immigration. The fact that your people are fleeing your country, the fact that they are fleeing your country to come to America, and you have the nerve to try to tell Americans how to treat immigrants. In 2007, the Mexican president said, Mexicans are coming to America to do jobs even blacks don't want to do. And when I take another look at that statement, it shows the hate that they have for you. And with this immigration fiasco, because that's what it is just a hot subject to keep you focused on something else. Why? Because this is nothing new. This has been going on for years. Now everyone is fake crying on television. What's her name? Maddow from MSNBC? Boo-hooing. Al Sharpton out there. Oh, Lord. Jesus. It's a complete embarrassment. You guys can't even stop the shootings in Chicago. South Central, Compton, Watts, Inglewood, Brooklyn, Florida. And you're advocating for undocumented labor. I feel nothing about undocumented workers, illegal workers being arrested. Americans, especially Black Americans who need jobs in maybe lower income areas, go down there and work. I do believe Black Americans, especially Black men, need to learn how to work with their hands again anyway. But who knows? You might be driving a forklift. It's a dirty game you play to win. Every culture do for themselves except Black Americans. Only Black Americans will argue with other Black Americans on why they don't support illegal immigration. It makes absolutely no sense. All of the other topics we can have a dialogue on. This is a topic where it really, really presses a button with a lot of people, which is understandable because you have children involved. But my thing is, A, you knew the job was dangerous before you took it, and B, where are the parents? Oh yeah, and C, what are their country of origin doing about it? It's so much going on at the border. It's ridiculous. Drugs. You just had a van fleeing from Border Patrol flip over and kill about 5 people, I believe, 4 people. Happened last week. You had a little girl, 15 or 16 from Guatemala, shot in the head. People are risking their lives to come to America. And a lot of you Black people, who are advocating for your replacement, you need to take a trip to Skid Row and see how many Black Americans are homeless. LA isn't homeless capital for no reason. And if you support undocumented labor, that's fine. That's on you. I don't support it. You can't make me support something that I don't support. You're wasting your time. ICE is setting through America like wildfire, blazing America from East Coast to West Coast to North to South. Again, I didn't vote for Donald Trump. I guess you have to say this every video to Black Americans. Wow, you know, again. But there are some policies he have in place and he's trying to do that I support. Illegal immigration is one of them. This is one of my major talking points. And last year, we talked about immigration so much, my videos went viral, almost every one of them. Almost every one of my immigration videos went viral. 100K, 60K, 200K, 300K. My subscribers will tell you that. And just people in general, they'll tell you that. So I find it odd that when people want to talk about immigration all of a sudden because it's in the news, this is an old subject for me and many people. This new to you. And to see and to hear older Black people in their 40s, whether they are men or women, 50s, 60s, buck dance for undocumented labor. When you have a huge homeless problem, a huge mental illness problem, you're speaking up more for those children than you do yourself. And then you want the younger generation like me to listen to you. No. Listening to you is the reason why Black America is in peril. You older people are coons. Then you got this big bird female, this older woman in her late 40s, 50s with a mustache on her lip, continuously making videos about me. I'm like, why do you take me so serious? I've talked about immigration last year. Where were you last year? Is it because my channel was growing? I went viral all last year. This video only did 12K in one day. All last year I went viral. Where were you last year? You were making videos about me, but not about my stance on immigration. Remember those videos? They were very, very harsh in language. And now they want to take shots at younger people. Older black people want to take shots at younger black people like myself because we don't want undocumented immigrants. Be mad. You are the reason why Black America is in peril. You guys are unfit to be telling anyone anything. You got grown 40, 50, 60-year-old women chasing around young black men on YouTube, arguing, fussing. It's like, I don't know you, don't want to talk to you. You're wasting your time. You're old enough to be my grandmother. My mom, definitely. We live two separate lives. You can't tell me what to think. No, you can't even tell yourself what to think. That's why your channel isn't growing. Now get off and stay off. Everyone gets something out of the deal except Black Americans. So I have a question for you Einsteins out there who are pro undocumented immigrants. You're pro that. And salute to my Caribbean brothers. I'm not talking about you. When they look at you, they see a Black American. When they look at you, they see a Black American until you open your mouth. They don't care you're Black. But to these Hispanics that come here, that shot down innocent children, what about those families you separated? The 18th Street, MS-13. 80% of Hispanic women crossing the border from Mexico to America are raped. There are rape trees at the border, even in Texas. Google it. Click image. There's articles about it. 80%. Why are they not addressing that? Why are they not addressing the domestic violence? I can't, as a Black American man, I can't go to any country on this earth and demand asylum and get it. Yes, there are some exceptions. If you climb a building like Spider-Man and save a dangling baby. You think I can go to Mexico and demand asylum when they have some of the harshest immigration laws on the Western Hemisphere? A lot of you older Black people in the Black sector of YouTube, you guys are horrible people. You guys are rude. Very rude people. You want to go around and harass the youth, the younger generation. Everyone does not think like you. There is a time where people do stand up. I told you, Black Americans can shine a shoe. Black Americans sure can shine a shoe. Black Americans can spit, shine a shoe. Black Americans can spit, shine the hell out of a pair of Stacey Adams. You look at Reverend Al Sharpton, that fraud. Tawana Browley. Now he's buck dancing for undocumented labor. These people don't like you. These people do not like you. Ask Black people in inner city LA. Ask them. Ask the mothers, the single mothers who get their house firebombed. You guys are supposed to be for black people, but you don't speak up for them. You just hopped on this subject because it's hot. That's it. That's it. So therefore, I'm not going to take you serious. This is a hot subject you just hopped on, and your feelings are in the way. When your feelings calm down, and hopefully you'll think logically, you'll say, kid is right. Kid, what do I get out of the deal? Why does everyone get something out of the deal constantly besides me? Voting for the Democrat Party 50, 60 years, 45 years. You've got absolutely nothing out of it. You have Kamala Harris on Capitol Hill explaining away why undocumented immigrants should come to America. She should be on Capitol Hill explaining away how America should prosecute cops immediately, expeditely, swiftly, bring them to justice when they kill a unarmed black male. You don't get that because they don't care about you. They want you to care about everyone else. Everyone has benefited off the backs of your ancestors and your great-grandparents and some of your grandparents if they made the right decisions. Everyone have benefited from it except your black ass. And here you have 40, 50, 60-year-old black Americans making response videos to millennials, boo-hooing, crying, taking kid O personal. Over his stance on immigration when this is an old topic of mine. This is nothing new. And to be honest, Trump is much nicer than I would be. He's actually being nice. Because if I was president, I would build a task force specifically for undocumented immigrants where they can go into homes, legal paperwork. No, I take that back. Not go into homes, go to jobs more often. License plate scanners, scanning license plates, seeing if everything is up to date and correct. It's going to be even harder to be an immigrant in this country anyway because they have face recognition coming out. Facial recognition is coming out in the near future. So it's going to be hard anyway. So these people need to save as much money as they can so when it does happen, they have something to fall back on. And take their kids with them. Those are your kids. You lay down and had those kids. On this channel, I'm very hard on Black America and how the children are being raised. And I'm supposed to let foreigners off the hook? That's that slave mentality. You guys are the real coons. You guys are old coons. You should be ashamed of yourself that you would throw your children's future away. Now your children have to compete with a summer job at McDonald's or Subway to buy some extra school clothes. Or to help their single mother out on rent. You guys don't think like that because you're too used to saying, yes, the boss. I'm going to spit shine your shoe today, boss. Those Stacey Adams, boss. Let me get that for you, boss. You dropped that. Let me wipe the crust from around your mouth, boss, with this napkin. I know it was a long night. I'm out. Peace.